We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is, from Colorful Colorado Creations, it is the Colorado Red hot sauce. Now, okay, we have the random verbiage here. I don't know about this. What's interesting is that we don't have, like, you have to look around to find the actual name of this company, which is so weird because most of the time, most sauce makers will have their name. This is, I'm assuming their logo, but they'll have their name bold and up front so that you can look for other sauces from them if you like it. I like this logo, but I don't think I would have necessarily chosen this name. Or what if they did this, right? What if they had the C and then they put like 3, like C cubed, or 3C, or whatever, C3, something like that, so that you could find them to find their other sauces. And they do have other sauces as well. Very, very low key though. This is, I happened across this randomly while I was looking for a sauce for pizza. And there you can see there's the Colorful Colorado Creations. I don't love that name as a company, but I mean, nobody asked me, obviously. So we'll get into why I picked this off the shelf in a minute, but we start with water, distilled vinegar, red Fresno chili. So that's where my ears perked up a little bit, my eyebrows raised. I said, "Yep, I love me red Fresnos." We have red Fresno chili, red pepper, or is that maybe 2 different ingredients? I'm not sure. The spacing, the kerning here on the ingredient panel is also not great, but so from there we've got garlic powder, we have vegetable oil, we have soybean oil, salt, ghost pepper powder way at the end, and xanthan gum. So this part is good with the label. This nice spacing, so you can see how much is left. I don't understand why this is called Colorado Red, because I see red bits in here, but Colorado Red is implying a red sauce. And very clearly, this is not a red sauce, even slightly. And I'm really curious why it is this color, because we have red Fresnos, red peppers, and the ghost pepper powder isn't going to influence the color, but the other two are definitely red. So why do we have this sort of strange, I guess almost like a light orange color? You know, water is not going to have color. Distilled vinegar is not going to have color. So garlic powder, probably not. We've got the oils. When you blend oils, they'll start to take on this sort of aspect. So maybe that's what it is, but it just is curious to me that it's this color. I don't think the sauce is turned or anything like that, but this is not, to me, there's red bits in it, but this is not what I would say is a red sauce. Where I was interested in this is I've had a few sauces with oils, and I think there's an interesting creaminess. Looking at the ingredients, red Fresnos, red peppers, garlic, all that's going to go great with what I wanted a sauce for, which was pizza. So I said, all right, I've never heard of these guys before. I found this on one of Roger's shelves, one of the Burn Your Tongue locations, and It wasn't on my radar or anything. I just picked it up because it looked interesting. And this, so making sauce, not getting sauced since 4/19/20, which, so this is a company that started during the pandemic, actually, which of course, I guess technically still is not finished at the time of recording of this, but yeah, I find a lot of confusion with this sauce. But I mean, you look on the website, this is the actual color as well. So it's like, well, why are you calling it Colorado Red? I don't understand. But my confusion aside, it is a very slick looking label. I do like this part. I really think that they want to, I would suggest that they somehow, even if you have to rename the company, find a way to get the company name somewhere on this though. All right. So here's what we have. We have this sort of fairly bright yellowish, maybe even a sunflower yellowish sauce with red bits in it. Sauce, I think, looks pretty good. Not red, obviously, but I think overall it's a pretty solid looking sauce. No problems there. Obviously, with all those sort of agents in it, it's going to be a very smooth sauce, and you can certainly see that as well. So let's get into it. Nice bit of sweetness there from the red peppers. Getting some of the good Fresno flavor as well. It's quite a good tasting sauce. So I'm not a big fan of oils. And the only thing I'm thinking is that this is, I think, bordering on the edge of too much of a good thing as far as the oils. Like, either have soybean oil or vegetable oil, or actually my preference, I think, probably would have been olive oil. Especially because I think this lends itself well to sort of an Italian aesthetic almost. So I think throw out the two. Oh, you know what though? Oh no, it's here. There's oils in here, which fats are highly caloric, right? It's 9 kcal per gram, and we don't have we don't have a calorie attached to this, which is frankly false. If there's an oil in a hot sauce, it is going to have calories. But so for this one, it's almost too much oil. It's almost too much of a good thing as far as the oil goes. It is very smooth, but you also have an interesting texture from the peppers. It is, I would say, more pepper forward than anything else. There's a little sort of a back current of garlic powder in here. Quite a tasty sauce. It is put together pretty nicely. For my own taste, I would have tweaked the oils, I think, a little bit in there. I probably would have changed the way that is. Just because it's at times, depending on what food I'm having it on, it will read as too oily. Here, oddly enough, by itself, it didn't, but it still felt right on the verge of being too oily. And I think, like I said, that is part due to just having vegetable oil and soybean oil both. And I don't know why you do that. I don't quite understand that decision. But for me, I think when sauce companies have used oil in sauces, my preference has, I think, been a bit more strongly towards olive oil. Because I think it's light, but I think it also gives you that rich effect that they're kind of going for here with adding oil to a hot sauce and all. So heat is, even though it's ghost pepper powder, it's way back in the mix, and you get a little really light blast at the beginning, and then it tapers off almost immediately. So and it doesn't really impact the flavor too much. It's not there for that. Obviously, it's there more for heat. So I got this for pizza, and damn it, we're gonna have some. So this is just Tony's cheap frozen pizza. And so I like to get those pizzas. The Red Barons, there's no mistake in their garbage pizzas. I mean, you're paying $3 or $4 a pizza. How good is it gonna be, right? No question about that. But I like them because they sort of hit that sort of taste for the cheap. I've talked about in other videos. They hit my taste for the cheap well enough. Also, they're not good by themselves, so it is yet another excuse, as if I need more, to consume more sauce. I think arguably you could actually use this as a sauce itself. I have used other sauces, hot sauces, as an actual pizza sauce. The one I really liked was the Boar's Head jalapeno. You can check out that video if you want to see me doing that exact thing. This sauce frustrates me a little bit because there's so much great pepper flavor there, and I feel like it's being overshadowed and crowded a little bit by the oil. There is another version of this. I think it's the Colorado Red Extreme, I think it's called. I will be hunting down a bottle of that as well. Depending on how different it is and depending on when I get it, I may actually compare it against this. I'm not quite sure yet, but I really wish they would have leaned more into that pepper flavor. It was quite good. You have this wonderful combination of the roasted, well, I don't know if it's roasted red, but you have the red pepper. One of the best, I'm assuming a Red Bell, one of the best flavored peppers I think there is. With the red Fresno, which is another one of the best flavored peppers I think there is. Just a marvel. It's a little bit more on the bell side, I think, almost. But you've got this sort of backcurrent of heat from the ghost peppers. Very nicely done. Like I said, the oil is a bit of an issue for me. With the water being the first ingredient, I think there's some trying to force those two, water and oil together with it in an emulsification, I think is maybe part of the issue as well. You would always have to do that though, even if you dump the water entirely, just ran with vinegar, you'd still have to do that. The one sort of other drawback to going heavy on the oil to try to get that smoothness is I think it kind of cuts down on what you can use this on. Like, I am getting actually kind of surprisingly a better build than I thought I was going to. But it cuts down on, like, you couldn't use this, for instance, on macaroni and cheese. It would just be too rich. I found the same thing with chicken tendies. It was just overly rich. I think part of it has to do with having the sauce while it's chilled. Also, the sauce really opens up when it gets warmer. And again, that has to do with how much oil is in it. So flexibility wise, it's pretty low. But for the thing I bought it for pizza, it's quite good. I actually am going to try. I should probably see if I have any pasta left, but I might try to whip up some pasta just so I can try this with spaghetti sauce, because I feel like it's probably going to work really well there as well. It does lend itself pretty decently to those things. It just it does have if you have enough of it, you can get actually a more than expected burn. Like it's still on the low side. It's probably up to all the way up to 2 for me, which is going to knock it right on the door of potentially being too hot for most normies, I think. But that's depending on what you use it with. I mean, this I think it could be potentially a good gateway sauce as well. That's just the 2 things that I'm struck by the most with this. Actually, 3 things. 4 things, I guess. The first thing is I don't like the company name. The second thing is it's not red. It's calling itself red. But more so, there's a really it could be a really rich flavor dynamic here if with some minor tweaks to this. I think this could be an extremely impressive sauce. As it is, it's nice, but I think that there's a little bit more tweaking. I think this thing is really starting to push the upper echelons. But that's what I get out of this, is just like it's good, very good in certain applications, and were it not for those other things kind of holding it back. That's kind of my general impression. I think of this, no matter what I put it on, I'm always like, yes, that's the thing. That's, it's not quite there, but it could be. I really like what's the start of this, though. My introduction to this company, pretty happy with that. And like I said, I'm going to chase down the other one. And I don't know if they have other sauces beyond this that don't have onions that I might also chase down. But certainly, I'm going to chase down the extreme version of this just to see if that has fixed a lot of the issues here with this one. Certainly, it's going to be hotter. I think there's Reapers in that one, if I remember right. But we shall see when we see. But for this one, yeah, I mean, if you want a sauce that you're not tempted to use on other stuff and just want to keep for like Italian foods and pizza in particular, this is not a bad sauce to have around. That I'm not going to use on anything else. It will be strictly for pizza, because I think it actually does work fairly well there, and I like it a lot less on other stuff. So definitely worth a go if you come across it, though, particularly if you like the rich and creamier sauces a bit more than some of the more abrasive vinegar forward ones. But yeah, pretty neat mission. It's Johnny Scoville has made a connection between addictive personalities and chili heads, which I don't personally find that I agree entirely with. But this is another case where we have a person who has turned to creating sauce rather than getting sauced in the company mantra, and I certainly have no question at all saying that is a definite positive. So if you're someone who likes to be cause supporting in your purchases, that's another feather in the cap for these guys. But anyway, there it is, the colorful Colorado Creations Colorado Red hot sauce. Now go forward in peace to serve the flame.